Hey, book friends, welcome back to Books I Read. I'm Sheila, and I'm so glad you're here. We're going to do some bookish things here. Obviously, it's a book channel. Today is, I don't know, but we are doing, as you already read the title, the second section in Stephen King's The Outsider. That's what we're here for. This is a buddy read. That's what we're doing. And the second section, which you guys already know because it's in the title, is Sorry, July 14th to July 15th. That's what we're going to talk about. And as I said in the last video, I'm going to start talking and tell you, what I think of what I've read, of what my husband and I've read. My husband's going to jump in whenever he feels the need necessary. I'm going to jump back. That's how it's going to go. If it bothers you, I'm so sorry. But anyway, and then you guys jump in the comments below anytime. It doesn't matter if it's October or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's a buddy read. All right. So anyway, we start off in this section with Alec, what's his name? Alec Pelly taking Terry's kids home from the, what are they called? Mattingly people?
From some neighbors.
From some neighbors,
basically.
Yeah. And Jamie Mattingly, or whatever her name is, Jamie, the neighbor, she's just kind of like, how dare you talk like that? Because they're like, they're basically saying, oh, those poor girls, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, it's not their fault. If their father did or didn't do this, it's not the girls' fault. Want some tea?
I do, got mine.
Yeah, we have our tea because I believe it's Mrs. Anderson, Ralph's wife, has tea and raisin bread or raisin toast. All right, anyway. So that's pretty much where we're starting. Alec is there to pick up the girls, take them back home. Of course, the oldest one is helping the youngest one, because it's a horrible time for what these girls are going through. All right, and then we get into where Ralph is talking to Alec, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's his name, Alec Pelly. He's a detective, by the way. But he's talking to him, and he's like, hey, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. At least that's what I got out of it. Who's he talking to? Alec Pelly's talking to who? Ralph, right? No. Alec's talking to Terry's lawyer.
Yeah.
That's who Alec is talking to, because Alec, the detective, is working with Howie to come up with some, to have better evidence than they have, is my whole understanding of the thing.
Yeah, he's like, it's like his assistant. He does like all the footwork.
Yeah.
He runs around and goes and talks to people and checks things out.
Yeah. And then Ralph did shake his head when he was talking to the detectives. They were having like this meeting or this get together or whatever they were talking. And he's like, Terry's complete surprise and seeming lack of guilt had shaken Ralph even more than the impossible alibi. So I found that interesting. And of course, Ralph is like, we need to talk to the other teachers that he was with. And
yeah, the ones that went with him on the conference.
Yeah, on the conference thing. Because, all right, so Judy and Ralph, as I said, they were having tea and toast. But they find, Alec finds something, a video from the conference.
Yeah, he had went back to the hotel to get their video, and while he was there, he got the videos from the actual conference that was there. But
right.
There was actually a news crew that had been there to videotape the whole conference.
Right, Channel 81.
Right, and they had caught, when the speakers weren't talking, they had caught video
of the audience. They caught when Harlan Coben stood up, and I guess they caught the audience, and they have Terry in this video, asking Harlan Coben a specific question in this conference.
Yeah, so not only do they have Terry telling them at the jail cell that, hey, I didn't do it, but now they have video proof that he was actually where he was.
Right. So then, in the meantime, though, Arlene Peterson is at home with her husband and her oldest son, Ollie. She loses her shit. Arlene loses her shit. She starts to...
Well, she sat through the whole thing like prim and proper.
Yeah.
She had her, like, Sunday go
and
to
after
eat,
everybody has gone home and everything, she loses her shit because this was her son.
Yeah.
And she just goes, poor lady. And Arlene, she falls on the ground. Her husband tries to, get her to the ground, get her on her side, and he's doing CPR. And the last thing, and this kind of, because I reread it. After my husband and I read it together, I went back and reread it. And this part just, I want to know, why was Arlene apologizing so strongly, even as she was dying?
See, she went through everything all cool and collective, and then when everybody left, she walked out in the kitchen, saw that food.
Yeah.
And that's when she, like, lost her mind. And she was like, my son's dead, but at least I don't have to cook for the next month.
Yeah,
or
she was just losing her mind, though.
But when she winged the food at the wall,
yeah,
I think she was, when she came back to herself, she was apologizing to them for, for losing her crap. But he's like, well, I can move. And I can go there. He goes, but they'll never ever let me be a coach again.
Well, and I think that's what Howie meant when he told, I don't know if it was Marcy and Terry at that time, if they were together. I think they were together, when they went to go see Terry to tell them about the video. Didn't Howie say, like, okay, don't get ahead of ourselves yet. We're still in the machine. He's like, I could get you out of the machine, but I don't know if I could get you out of the shadow of the machine.
Uh-huh.
So that's a good question. What's going to happen there?
Because, I mean, you can always, move to try and run from your problems. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, sometimes your problems follow you when you go.
Right. And then we meet also a new character in this section. We meet this kid, Merle Cassidy. He's this kid that is sleeping in, I think it's what did he steal, a station wagon or something? But he's in
We'll just generalize. He's in a stolen car.
Yeah, he's in a stolen car. And he is 12 years old. 12?
Yes,
Yeah, he's 12 years old. And the police is like, all right, Mel, but Mel doesn't want to be sent back home. He ran away from home because he doesn't like his father.
Yeah, his dad was abusive.
Now, there was something I want to go back to. And that's, they found out that the van belonged to a part-time carpenter and handyman named Carl Jellison. And he lives in, I don't know how to say the town, but it's in New York. Spuntakill, New York? I don't know. But Mel Cassidy says he is from there. So, did Mel steal his van at some point and leave it somewhere? Because they've already fingerprinted all the workers and stuff. And then also, I thought was interesting is I don't know whose wife it was. But she puts a hand over his and she says, just promise me you'll stop every once in a while and acknowledge the day, honey.
It's
the only one you'll have until tomorrow.
That was the prosecuting attorney.
No, that was...
Or the detective.
That was somebody's wife.
Yeah, that was the detective when they were eating toast.
I don't know.
Yeah, she told him, she said, your day's going to suck, but, at least smell,
right,
smell
I
roses.
think that was Ralph's wife.
Yeah, it was Ralph's wife. She's basically just telling him, hey, just remember, smell the roses. Yeah.
Well, even Ralph's wife is thinking in her head when she's talking to him, she thinks in her head, because she says, Jeannie listened to this with growing dismay. As his wife, she couldn't ask the questions that his prompted. But she was asking in her own mind is, if you had such doubts, why in God's name did you act the way you did? And why so fast? So now even she's thinking these thoughts. So it's like
there's a lot of people that are going to get, you figure.
Well, now they're afraid of getting sued.
The police are going to get sued. The city's going to get sued. The judge is probably going to lose his whatever because he gave them their search warrant.
Okay, and then
all that stuff.
Let's talk about the book. The book that was in Cape City, is that what it's called? Cap City, wherever this conference was. Okay, the book in the gift shop that
was on the top shelf that had never been touched by anybody else.
Right, but Terry supposedly touched it. That's what the lady in the gift shop said. Miss Lavelle or whatever her name is. And Ralph Anderson puts 2 and 2 together and goes and buys this book. And he fingerprints it himself at home and finds out that the fingerprints are Terry's. And the other guys, the other detectives are like, well, we can kind of make it disappear kind of thing. And Ralph's like, no, we're not going to make evidence disappear. And he turns in the book. So I'm just curious. I think it's Samuel, Detective Samuel, Bill Samuel, I think, has tried to set Terry up. Because he was pissed off about it. Either that or that Sablo guy. Or they're in on it together. I still have to agree with my son Benjamin. He hasn't even read the book and he thinks 2 of the detectives are in on it. That planted it. Because even Ralph's like, how did the fingerprints get there?
Mm-hmm.
Why did Terry ask where the dock was or whatever? Why would he park the van in Stubby's or Pubby's or whatever that pub was?
Why would he have his face planted everywhere?
Yeah, why would he have his face planted?
If you were going to do something like that, why would you show your face everywhere?
Exactly.
Literally.
And he's like, none of this makes any damn sense. And I agree with Ralph. None of it makes any damn sense. And even Marcy, yeah, Terry's wife says, maybe someone set him up. And she's like, I know how paranoid that sounds, but she shrugs. And Howie says, but why? And that's what I said in the last clip, or in the first section when we started this book. I said, if somebody has set him up, why? What is the motive?
They were jealous of him.
And Howie even says, too, that's the question. Can either of you think of someone who would go to such extraordinary lengths to do that? And of course, they can't. They're like, we have no idea. And again, we know. Okay, we talked about the book. And what else? I thought this quote was pretty neat. It says, she told Anderson, and Anderson bought the book. She says he walked out holding it by the sides and with the palms of his hands. So Alec is telling, not Ralph, Howie this. And Howie says, hoping to raise prints that don't match Terry's, Howie says, thus suggesting that whoever handled that book was not Terry. Won't work. God knows how many people may have taken that book down and handled it. But we shall see. I'm just curious.
Well, even though the shopkeeper said that no one had touched that book in forever,
right.
How do you prove that?
Right. And then later on, Ralph says, because the guys are like, well, don't keep us in suspense. And Ralph's like, yeah, they match. The prints on this book belong to Terry Matlin. And they're like, no, we got to make this shit go away. Why do they want to make it go away?
Yeah. Makes you go,
yeah. And of course, Samuel says it's impossible. Says he can't have been at 2 places at the same time. And the other detective says, yeah, but so it appears he was. Until today, there was no forensic evidence in Cap City. And now there is. And then, as we get closer to the end of this, Ralph goes and visits Terry in the cell, at the jail. And he's not supposed to. Terry's not supposed to be talking to him, to Ralph, according to his lawyer. And Ralph isn't supposed to be talking to Terry, according to Bill Samuel. But they're talking to each other. And Ralph asks him, you know,
Did
you do it? And Terry's like, I did not. And the sad part is even at the end of this, Ralph still doesn't believe him. Why? I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't know. It makes you wonder.
That's why it's a good book.
Right, and that's where we're at. So we ended on Ralph wanted to believe him, but he still could not. And I think that's all the notes that I wrote down that I wanted to like bring up too. So that's where we're at. What do you guys feel? What are you guys thinking? Is there something that you guys pulled from this section that we missed talking about?
Yeah, for real. Did you pick up on anything as you were reading it that we didn't catch on?
Exactly. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No.
But yeah, if you guys picked up on anything, you guys want to talk about anything else, you know, characters, which character's your favorite, what character's your least favorite, who do you guys think is, you know, what's going on in your brain, you know, who do you guys think it is? I'm just curious. And we are going to end there, and we will see you in the next video. We will do the arraignment and footsteps and cantaloupe in the next one. So we're going to do 2 sections in the next one, and we will see you then. Bye.